Welcome back to the channel. My name is Crawford. This is Virginia's for Lowriders. And as you can see, we're still in the same boat as we were last week. It's been a really long week. I have managed to fight the A.D.D problems and come out here and focus on this night after night after night. And for whatever reason, it is not working out. So it's been now 4 master cylinders and 3 slave cylinders, and it hasn't made a single bit of difference. I had my buddy Mike and his dad come over on whatever it was, Tuesday, Wednesday, I can't even remember now. It's all a blur. His dad has been a mechanic for, I don't know, 40 years, we'll just say. He'll let me know because he watches these things. I've been a mechanic professionally for almost 18 years. Mike has mechanical knowledge. We could not get this to work. So fast forward a couple more days later, I worked on it by myself. Fast forward to today. My buddy James and his dad came by. The same exact thing happened. We get just a little bit of pedal and nothing more than that. I think I boiled it down to just really crappy Chinese parts. That's all it can be. Everything is new. The line is new. The clutch slave cylinder, the master cylinder, all of it is new. I even went to the extent of welding the hole that I drilled in the pedal from moving it all up, welding it shut, and then going in and drilling behind that. Didn't help. I am drawing a blank. Everybody that's been over here is drawing a blank because none of this makes sense. The only thing that makes sense is crappy parts. And I have things to show you that are signs of said crappy parts. So the first clutch slave cylinder, which is in that box, leaked. The second one, this is a Dorman unit. I don't even remember the brand of that one. This is a Dorman unit, and I doubt my GoPro can catch it. There is metal shavings in here. I'm going to add more footage of this that I took along the way. The master cylinder, the first one that I did, leaked. I went through and took it completely apart to try and figure out what was going on with it. And you can see the quality control here, where the crush washer is missing a portion of it. The third clutch master cylinder, I'll add some footage of that. There was actually metal shavings in it as soon as I took it out of the box. I didn't even get a chance to put it on. This is brand new. It just came in the mail today. These are the other 2 that are also brand new that I've just removed because I'm running out of ideas here. Why are the plungers different sizes, and why are the springs different sizes? And what's weird is the long spring came out of the same one as the long plunger. This is brand new, and there is a sliver of metal inside of that hole. It's great. Metal sliver. And this is a brand new Dorman unit. Come on, focus. There's part of it. It's great. Also, look at how offset this hole is here. It's not even close to being drilled in the center. So I'll add everything in that I've recorded, which it wasn't a lot, but I'll add everything in that I've recorded so far so you can see exactly what I was going through. I have this idea. I don't know if it's going to work. Just got back from the parts store. One of the problems with this is nobody, unless I drive an hour and a half north, has any parts in stock for these trucks. I don't know why. Doesn't make any sense, but I mean, you would think it would be because of lack of them being in the area, but you see them around here. It's not like they're super duper rare. So I had this idea after hours and hours and hours of Googling, on top of the, let's just say 15 hours at least that I've put into trying to make this work and swapping parts and bleeding in every imaginable way that you can bleed something. Power bleeding, vacuum bleeding, pressing, holding, pumping, and pressing and holding, and everything that you can do. That's with combined knowledge of old dudes and semi-old dudes. Nothing. My idea, which this might not work, but we're going to try it. This is a clutch slave cylinder for a Mazda. These are very simple. This is all that's inside of it. A spring and a little piston. That is it. That's all you get. So I've had multiples of these where that single tiny seal leaks. They're just garbage. So with these, it's just a single piston and that's it. One seal. Once that seal is crap, this is no good. It costs more for a seal kit than it does to buy an entire unit. That's why I keep buying them, thinking that I'm going to get lucky. Here is the original one. They are identical in shape and size. I tried to mix match some parts while James' dad was here. We took the piston out of the old one, we put it in a new one, thinking maybe that would be the difference because the old one has a double seal, this one has a single seal. It didn't help. These are clutch master cylinders. These are also very, very simple. Springs, pistons, it's it. There's not much in here. A couple seals. One of the things that's weird, which I did record, I'll add that in too, is all of these have different lengths. Everything that I've taken apart is completely different inside. I know that they're different manufacturers and all that stuff, but you would think they would have the same valving styles at least. One of the things, again, I'll add it in, the quality control is non-existent when it comes to these things. They are all absolute garbage. The thing that's weird, this is off of my parts truck. I don't have the one that came on this truck. It's been thrown away months ago. This is a two-piece system with valving and all kinds of stuff in here. What's weird to me, this is, I believe, an OEM one off of a 93 on the parts truck, because I don't think this has ever been changed, judging by the looks of it. This doesn't have multiple pieces or that valving inside of it, which to me seems very strange. I don't know. I mean, obviously it doesn't need the valving, and that could be part of the problem. I've read online that a lot of people, there's a ton of dudes that just buy these parts and they go right on and they have no issues at all. And then there's a lot of people that have this exact same issue with these trucks. I don't know what it is. So I've been rambling for like 10 minutes already. I'm gonna get to the point. This is my idea. Mazda truck slave cylinder. Very weird design to me. The fact that the line has to come in here, and to bleed it, you have to kind of interrupt it, and the air has to escape between the piston and the line. This is a Mazda Miata slave cylinder. It is a tiny bit longer, but the shape and the bolt diameter and placement is the same, but the bleeder is on the back. The bleeder is a nicer quality looking bleeder. It's the same size line in, which shouldn't matter because it's a soft line. The only thing that I did, I took the Miata rod out and I put the Mazda truck rod in. So I'm going to try to use this. This is a truck master cylinder. This is a Miata master cylinder. So going back to, there's no valving in the factory four-wheel drive one. Tons of random stuff added to these. The Miata one does not have that. The cap is shaped different, or the reservoir. So I'm going to pull the reservoir off of one of these, and I'm going to come up with some bolts to hold it in because the Miata is studded on the car side. And we're going to try to convert this to Miata. Sorry for all the rambling. It's been a really long week, and there's a lot of stuff to explain, and I really hope this works because I am so tired of working on this. We're going to throw these in, and then hopefully we can do something else because I am absolutely, my hands hurt from absorbing so much brake fluid over the last week. Well, it's Sunday. It was Sunday when I went in their house because James came over and he was here until about 1 a.m. helping me mess around with this thing. And we have a clutch that engages and disengages finally after 2 weeks of a whole lot of aggravation. I got all of the I should say, I have all of the new parts packaged back up and ready to go back to wherever I bought them from because they're all garbage. The Miata part swap idea ended up working. So there's a couple things that I had to do in order to get it to work. I showed y'all yesterday which I don't know where I put it, the master cylinder cup or reservoir is tilted on the Miata. So I took the original reservoir off of the parts truck since I have to send all those other new ones back. I swapped the reservoir on it here and it fits and it looks fine, like it's supposed to be in there. I managed to scratch all of my new paint up while I've been doing all of this random stuff and taking these parts on and off 100 times. So I need to touch up all that. This location is shorter than it was before. This line was actually pretty much touching up here. So I had to move the line around a little bit, which is not a big deal. The only thing that I had to actually modify is I put bolts through the firewall into the cab and nuts on the backside. I had to oblong one of these holes just a little tiny bit in order to get that bolt into there. As far as the slave cylinder goes, like I said yesterday, the only thing that I did was swap the rods out between the pickup truck and the Miata. This is the pickup truck one that was originally on here, and here's the Miata. Outside of the length, they're literally the same thing. So I swapped those out. A couple of videos ago, I put that braided line on there, and that braided line was recommended to me from a subscriber and somebody I've been talking back and forth online with. So he had originally ran into this problem. I didn't have this problem because I lucked out. Well, I shouldn't even say lucked out. I didn't have a slave cylinder that it was a problem on originally. All of the other ones that I've received since that original one, which I sent that one back, have had this issue. I'll add some still shots of this, but this is the OEM replacement line that you buy from the store. This nice shiny one. This is a original one that came off of the truck. I'll add the still shot so I can actually focus on this. The ends are different. They're very, very different. One is flat and one has an inverted taper like a brake line almost. The problem with all that, I have some more still shots. The inside of this is inverted tapered also. So it is the opposite of what you need. You need a tapered fitting, almost like a JIC or a AN into it. It doesn't make sense. It's like none of these people, like if I've even bought all Dorman, so that way they're all matching from the same company and the parts are still wrong. But regardless, the Miata stuff does work. So if you're running into the same issue, the Miata slave cylinder is significantly easier to bleed. The Miata master cylinder bled in probably 10 strokes of the pedal. The pickup truck one took 20 minutes to bleed. I don't know what the main differences is. Like I said, that one doesn't have the valving in the beginning for whatever reason, and the bleeder is in a completely different, better location on the slave cylinder. So those things together made this what it should have been. It made it a 30-45 minute process of replacing and bleeding rather than literally 2 weeks of frustration. So the truck needs to come out of the garage before it changes its mind and stops working. So I need to throw the wheels on. I need to move all this junk out of the way. And we need to do something else. I want to make something. I think we might stray away from the truck because the truck has been so incredibly frustrating and I need a change of pace. I need to fabricate something. This fabrication thing that I have in mind is going to go along with the truck because I have some things that I want to explain, which I know there's a lot of explaining going on in this video. I need to make a stand for a tool so I can stop putting the tool in the vise and it can have its own stand. I don't know if you've paid attention to the background of my videos, but everything I have is on its own stand to where I can move everything around. If I need to cut long material, I can move the saw outside. Same thing with the bandsaw, the tubing bender, everything has its own stand. And a thing that I don't have a stand for, which would be nice, is my tubing notcher. That's a JD squared TV3, and since I've owned it, I've been putting it in my vise, which it's kind of chewing it up and I don't really care for. So I think it needs its own one of those. And that's going to go along with this, but I will explain that after we get this out of the garage. So my go jacks are buried in the corner of the garage. So I'm going to attempt to do a couple 100-point turn to get this thing out of here. I don't have the air compressors hooked up and all that other stuff because I'm impatient and I just want to do something different that doesn't include wiring. So we're going to go with just Schrader valves for now. I got the carburetor dialed in to where it'll sit here and idle and you can rev it up, but it's not 100%. I have a feeling I still need to buy jets. I also don't have the choke hooked up, so it takes a little while for it to warm up. Sounds good though. It went into gear and didn't grind or stall. I forgot I had the speedometer cable zip tied really close to the steering box, so it's making contact with it. That's what that clicking noise is, if you can hear it. Might be able to get a little scooch with a regular floor jack. The turning radius is a little weird with the body drop now, and it almost seems like it turns too sharp. I don't think it's rubbed in anything. Kind of weird. It rolls super easy. I also don't have the fans hooked up. I'm working on it. I got putting off the wiring as long as possible. Look at that, it moves under its own power. There you go, Sean. Even spun both of them for you. There you go, you asked for it like 30 times. But it is finally outside and drives under its own power. The air ride controls aren't done, the compressors aren't wired up 100%. The fans aren't wired 100%, but it's outside. And that's pretty awesome progress. The brakes work, the clutch works, and it runs and drives all by itself. No more pushing. Pretty awesome. Now I gotta figure out how to get it in the sea container, because I don't really have ramps heavy enough to hold a vehicle. And the sea container's kind of high. But we gotta let the garage air out, instead of them exhaust fumes get overwhelming quick in there. Gonna do a little, we can't run it very long, because I don't have the cooling fan hooked up, but do a little run around the yard real quick, because I haven't driven this thing in over a year. This is the lamest victory lap ever. Look at that. Brakes, wheels spinning. Pretty awesome. Feel like it's been for literally ever. Oh. Oh. It's probably the longest that I've ran this since I put it back together. I have to occasionally do some fluid checking. I went back and rewatched that footage just now. That vibrating noise is me not having the hood latched. It was just jangling around in this lock. It almost sounded like the motor was knocking, but definitely not knocking. Nice. I don't see anything leaking. That's always a good sign. It's a little warm. Well, no, actually not. I can feel the heat coming off the exhaust, but it's not bad. Daylight. Again. Only to be put away in complete darkness for however long it takes me to do body work. Alright, truck's outside. It is like 85 degrees or whatever. It's getting warm out there. So back to the thing that I said I would like to do to finish up today. I would like to make a stand for my tubing notcher. I originally built my stand for my tubing bender with a tow hitch receiver in the top of it. That way my idea was I could just remove this and put different tools onto the stand. And then after the fact, I measured the tubing bender, and with a cylinder on it, it weighs like 107 pounds. And it really sucks to pick up. So I think that stand is going to be its own thing. I could come off the side of it. That's still a possibility. I think I have more tow hitches, and I could potentially make like a leg that comes off of it to put the tubing notcher on. So we could do that. I gotta check my stash of randomness. But I've never discussed this. I have a plan with the truck, and it's been the plan the entire time. I was trying to find somebody to render it for me, but I don't know anybody that does renderings. The only guy that I know that does it has a full-time job, and he's really busy. So I was going to start one of these videos off with a rendering and say, hey, this is my idea. But there's so many rendering people scams now. I get like, it feels like 10 people a day of, hey, I draw your car really cool style for you at cheap price, guys. I don't know, I'm pretty sure some of y'all have come across that. There's a ton of them on Facebook trying to scam people out of money. But since the beginning of this project, I ordered the materials to do it. I have like 4 or 5 sticks of 1.5-inch tubing. I've always had this in my mind of wanting to build a 4-wheel drive style truck. I'm talking like straight up 80s and 90s, which this is the theme we've been going with since day one. At the interior, keeping the original style paint. I want to put the graphics back on it, and of course, like I've discussed before, I haven't found the right wheel choice yet. But my idea is I want to do something similar to what you would have seen on Back to the Future Toyota, with the roll bar in the bed. I don't want to do that massive like 2.5-inch or 3-inch tubing. I want to do something a little bit more subtle, like a street version. I want to do a little push bumper on the front, which I'll add a picture of something that I have in mind. And I like to do a single roll bar with some uprights in the bed when that time comes. I've had those materials sitting in that corner for like a year waiting for me to get time to do it. I know it sounds kind of weird right now, but I think it'll look cool when it's done. I have seen trucks online that have like knobby tires that are bagged. I haven't seen any that go in this actual direction. I'm positive. There's no way that I'm the only person that's done it, but I haven't seen a lot of pictures of people doing exactly what I'm talking about. Keep that 80s, 90s feel. I want to do all of the cool things you would have seen in the 80s and 90s. And to go along with that, the Back to the Future truck had KC lights. KC lights they're pretty big, especially whenever you're talking about trying to make something a little bit more streamlined and like street looking rather than huge 4-wheel drive versions. I would always consider the KC lights to be like the American, like that's the redneck thing to do. I understand they use them for racing and all that stuff, but I'm just saying, like, from around my area, the rednecks gravitate towards the KC lights. I don't know if it happens everywhere, just around here. That's what would happen in the 90s. In my search for a smaller KC light, I found some really nice covers at some swap meets, and I found some individual lights, but I didn't find enough matching lights to be happy with the choices. But looking at things other than KC lights and looking at rally cars and looking at like other things in that realm, I came across some Hella lights, and I came across a really good deal on Hella lights, and I think they're going to look awesome, and it's actually the reason that I went with the headlights that I did, so that they match these fog lights. So my idea, I want to do a bar comes across and goes under, like, just, again, I'll add another picture. A simple bar in the front with 2 lights hanging off of it. Simple roll bar in the bed that's really close to the height of the roof with maybe 4 lights on it. And to do that, I found these, and I think these look awesome, and they fit the truck so well. They're like old school Hella lights. They got the little covers on them. I think it'll look awesome. We'll carry one out to the truck real quick so you can see what I mean. Apparently my Schrader valve is leaking. Oh nice, the fitting came apart. That's pretty sweet. Never seen that before. Oh, I'll have to drag an airline out here. I understand, the grill's not in there. But you can see why I picked these. These are actually glass. Get See what I'm trying to get at here with the vertical lines. So my thought on this, I'm going to do a little baby bar, comes up here, hugs this kind of tight, and then back down and in again. And hanging off of that, either like this, I don't think I want to do them like up here, but probably hanging off the bottom of them, something like that. Of course the little label would be like this, but you get what I mean. And to add to that, more A.D.D stuff, so I'm trying to get at here. Picture the bed, in the bed, single roll bar, comes up real close to the edge of this, same shape as the cab. And on top of that, like pretty close to the roof, something like this. Not positive about these going on there yet. Definitely want to do them in the front. Definitely want to do the roll bar regardless, because I think it'll complete this whole look and idea that I have. But in order to do all of this, again, I need for my tubing bender to be operational. I'd like for my tubing notcher to not be clamped in a vise. And I just want to make something. We haven't made anything in a while, and I have talked so much in this video, and I really apologize, but progress. We did something. Something moved. We did the thing we've been talking about doing for like months now. So I made this stand for my planishing hammer, I don't know, 6-7 years ago, out of a stand that held, it was a display for water pumps and generators. I'll try and find a picture online and add it in, but the framing of them hooked into here, and it was another tier of it and it hooked into there. I still have another one of these uprights. I don't have the whole thing, but I still have this portion. That portion measures about 32 inches. This thing is pretty tall, and you don't want to be like, I don't know, drilling down onto it. You want to be kind of like comfortable height. Something around waist height would be nice. So I'm thinking, because most of my stands are around that 32-inch realm, I think that'd be a good height. So I'll go out here real quick. I have this thing. Let's see, here's the other top portion of it. Use this. I think we can just drill into that and bolt that thing in there. So I've worked on equipment, like I said in the beginning of the video, going on 18 years now. I've worked for 3 different companies because we keep getting bought out, but every one of the companies is the same way. We changed a lot of tracks and we changed a lot of sprockets with the tracks, and there are a ton. You can see I got a whole stack of them here. I got more of them in the back. There's a ton of them. If you ever want to do anything like this, everywhere I've been, they just throw them in the trash. They're awesome because they're very, very thick and heavy, and they create good stands because they have a nice platform size. All you gotta do is stop in to like a Sunbelt, a United Rentals, or wherever, and just ask somebody, like, hey, do y'all throw those in the trash? And most likely they'll give them to you because they're, like I said, they don't do anything with them. Got another set right here. I'm trying to make this as simple as possible and take up as little room as possible. I'm thinking really, really simple here. Like, cut that down to where it fits inside of this ridge. Weld it in place, cut this here, drill some holes, and I think we got a stand. This is one of those tools that's absolutely awesome to own, but on the same note, if you don't have hearing protection on, it will make your ears bleed. It is so incredibly loud. Just gonna put that up in there as much as we can. And whatever we got, that's what we got for a measurement. Loud noises. That was not sped up. That's how fast those things cut. It's half-ish. It is 11 and a half wide. That's what we need. I'll cut these down to about 5 3/4. Actually, looking at this, I'm not going to get quite that much cut off of this guy since it's butted up to the weld. To get that little foot in there, it's just barely too big. Go ahead and trim that angle off there. I don't think this thing needs to be like hold up a building strong. I think it'll be plenty strong if I trim that off there. Since it wouldn't fit in the saw, got a little overhang, but I'll just weld it all together, it's fine. But I think that'll work. Go ahead and cut that. Just trying to figure out a lazy way to do that. I was thinking I could fit the bandsaw, but probably gonna have to use a grinder, which I hate doing. And my floor looks rough on camera. Holy crap. I didn't realize how bad it looks. In person, it's pretty bad, but the camera makes it look way worse. Got a little weight to it now. This is a quick little project to get some really simple fabrication out of the system, because I feel like I haven't welded in a while. Welded a little scrap piece of like 3-inch or 4-inch tubing, whatever that is. That way we got a place to put the WD-40 when we're making our cuts. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the truck in, and I think we're gonna call it a day. It's been a hot one for sure. I was gonna put it in the sea container, but I gotta come up with some kind of ramp. I have ramps for my zero turn, but I'm not positive if the zero-turn ramp can handle the weight of my truck. I think we'll get a little sound clip of the exhaust since I haven't really been able to run it. And I forgot I gotta fix that T that decided to grenade itself. It looks good sitting out here though. Even if it doesn't have any body panels on it. I am definitely digging the look of this. The silver and the black on the wheels is kind of growing on me, not gonna lie. I think it's because I've had to stare at it for so long. Yeah, I don't think I got a fitting that fits that. All I have is a reducer T. I'll have to figure something out for that. Well, again, I apologize for all the rambling, but it was a long week. I had a lot to get out, but I think that does it. I think that's pretty good, because that's a pretty huge milestone, I guess. These crows are getting wild out here. I will see y'all next Sunday. Don't forget to do all the normal YouTube-y things. There's a new video every single Sunday. Last Sunday was the first time that it wasn't really a good, legit video. So my record's still pretty good. But I will see y'all next Sunday. Don't forget to, again, do all the subscribing and all the other things that we always ask y'all to do.